In his impressive career, he's worked alongside such famous names as Robert Kennedy, Jimmy Carter, and Walter Mondale. He was in the Peace Corps, was a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State and a presidential campaign manager. But now he works with me. Seems like a natural progression, really. Yes, if you haven't seen us on the new FNC program, The Five, yet, you're basically cheating yourself and God. Well, he probably wanted to leave this show 2 minutes in, but he's been nice enough to stay. So let's ask Mr. Bob Beckel some other stuff about your life. You've lived more life than anybody I know.
Well, the parts that I can remember, it's really been good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I make a lot of fun. You know, the reason I talk about drugs and alcohol, I work with alcoholics a lot. I can't stand them. God, I mean, if I was like that, man, when I was drinking, I probably was. But I do it for two reasons. One, I think it's important for people who are alcoholics and drug addicts who have finally found another life to say that, so a lot of people get in touch with me about it. And the other is that the right wing, if they found out, would put it all out over the internet anyway. So I figured I preempt them all.
Yeah, that's like it's like what Obama did with his book, where he talked about the cocaine. If you get it out there, no one goes after it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, very smart. Bill does that every night. He puts it out there on the bar every night.
You know, what I'm doing is playing a role, America.
Yes, exactly.
Just look at him and see if you believe that.
Yeah, exactly. You know very well. So how do you like doing The Five so far?
I think The Five is great. I mean, it really is. It's a different kind of show. I mean, it doesn't have a host, which is good. Mm-hmm. This show might we benefit from. I didn't get to know you until The Five. I think you are, and I mean this with all sincerity. You are one of the funniest, easy people to work with. The only problem is if they let us get away with it,
yes,
we're going to take that show so far over the cliff, man, that it's going to be. It couldn't make it on Ron Jeremy's network. I mean,
you told.
Dude, by the way, it's a friend of mine. Hey, Ron, how are you?
He's probably like this. Hey, how's it going? Anyway,
don't make fun of my friend Ron.
Yeah,
he's giving you hours of entertainment.
He was on this show and he wasn't wearing any underwear, and he stunk.
And he's giving us inches of entertainment.
How do you know that he wasn't?
Because he was wearing sweatpants. He was wearing satin sweatpants.
I got to tell you a fast story about this.
Maybe boxers.
I'm out with Hannity at one of his concerts. You know, he does those concerts to raise money for kids who died in Afghanistan, for fathers died in Afghanistan and Iraq. And Ron Jeremy's there. The lead singing group was, Leonard Skinner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ron Jeremy is a guest. So Hannity, somebody says, would you take a picture with Ron Jeremy? And Hannity's so sensitive to any of that stuff. And I walk backstage, and there he is next to Ron Jeremy. I said, hold it! Hold it, Hannity! Do you have any idea who that is? He said, no, who is it? I said, 15,000 X-rated movies. So I had to take him outside. I literally had to take Ron outside. So I'm a big fan of yours, and we know each other, and you can't do that with this guy because you'll ruin his career. Yeah. So, but I'd be happy to have a picture taken with you.
You'd have more than a picture taken with him.
Well, no, not so.
Yeah. You have a good. You worked. I think it was like the first Fox talk show with Tony Snow, right?
Yeah. We had the very first show on Fox Broadcast before Fox Cable.
Yeah.
It was called Off the Record, and it won an Emmy, and then they took us off the air. But the demographics were a problem because we followed cops and we were before America's Most Wanted. So we didn't exactly have the lead in we needed. You know?
But you know, didn't Tony help you a lot?
Oh yeah, he was great. I mean, it was one of the people that I sadly, it's just a sad thing. I love him. We gave a speech in Hawaii once. We had to fly overnight to get there. And I was so hungover. Yeah. And I thought it was the day before our speech. It was the day of the speech. It was an hour. And Tony had gone and written my speech for me, including all the shots I gave at him.
No, that's great.
Yeah, and some of my jokes better than when I told him. I miss him. He was a wonderful, wonderful human being. So he was the co-host on that show.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, I was the youngest Deputy Assistant Secretary of State in history. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It's true. And they called me up after I finished the campaigns. And somebody from the Carter administration called me and said, how would you like to be a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State? And I said, of which state? And they said, of the United States of America. And I said, it's true. And I said, I don't know anything about foreign policy. I was in the Peace Corps dodging the draft. I mean, what do I know about that? And they said, well, we have this thing called the Panama Canal Treaties. And so I went over to the White House and briefed the president. And they said, why don't you stay here? So they then made me assistant to the president for national security congressional relations, which means I had to carry all that secure stuff up to Capitol Hill. If anybody out there worries you can't get into government because of your background, I got a Q clearance, okay?
Greg.
I applied for my security clearances on the Freedom of Information Act. It was 369 pages when I got it. And it turns out that my roommate in college was an FBI informant.
Really?
Yeah, he was. The son of a... He turned in Because I headed up Athletes Against the War in Vietnam, and this guy was a spook.
Really?
Yeah. I found him.
Yes, I bet. Speaking of, I got about a minute left.
Is that all we have? This is my life I thought you wanted to talk about.
No, well, you talked a lot. This show has been your life. This has been your life. I'm Art Linklater, or Ladder.
Certainly, yeah.
Why did you come to Fox?
Because I couldn't find work anywhere else. No. I came to Fox. I'll tell you, it's a true and sad story. I got into a situation where I literally got extorted by a bunch of people for $50,000, and I went to work with the cops undercover to try to catch them. It turns out they were extorted. This was a prostitution ring, which I had, believe it or not, the first time didn't actually do anything. And they asked me to set up a woman that they turned her, and the long story short, they busted her, and I thought I had done my civic duty. Next thing I know, I get a call from a reporter saying, you were in a hotel room with this hooker. And I said, wait. Well, the judge says to me,
Quickly.
I said, Judge, I got to be able to talk. And he said, you can't, Bob. It's a gag order. And I said, well, if that's the case, I might as well have gotten it while I was there.
Thanks, Bob. We're taking a break. Stick around. Lots to talk about. And check out our podcasts. Go to foxnewsradio.com. Click on Red Eye.